Okay guys, welcome inside of my chat. This is your boy Hassan, and on the screen we are having Bitcoin or BTC USD, and this is the weekly time frame. So it is time for another analysis on Bitcoin. Remember, the analysis we do is the top-down analysis combined with demand and supply for sniper entries or for entries. And guys, what you have to know is that I've been seeing a lot of people do analysis, top analysis, demand and supply, whatever the analysis they have been doing. However, they do not give you precise places where you're going to enter, precise zones to enter. Someone will tell you wait for a pullback and then you enter for a buy to the upside. But then that pullback, what they don't tell you is that that pullback is not always as clear as they say it. So you'll see a pullback, yes, it will come, but entering for a buy, it will be hard. Now, for example, there's a pullback here, you want to enter for a buy. So how do you enter for a buy? Do you just enter from here and put stop losses down here? Of course you don't. There has to be a trigger for you to enter. So that is what supply and demand helps us on the lower time frame. You analyze from the high time frame, get your direction on the weekly, and you know that I'm going to up. So what do? I enter for a buy and I hold my trade for a long period of time until when I go into the profits that I'm comfortable with. So people will tell you buy here, sell here, but they will not going to give you precise entries or the zones you enter. That's why you see that in most cases you're going to enter a trade, it is a buy, everybody says it's a buy, you also did your analysis and it says it is a buy. However, you're going to be stopped out. You get stopped out, then the trade later buys. Why? Because you entered in the wrong zone. But with demand and supply, you know where to enter from, and you know that if the trade goes beyond this area, then it is no longer in my favor, so I would want to be out. So you'll be able to get out with a minimal risk or a minimal loss on that trade. So that is what we do here. Top down analysis, demand and supply for precise entries. Okay guys, so now before I proceed, let's go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because it is, we are on the road to 200 subscribers. Subscribe to the channel and then we can start our analysis. Okay guys, subscribe. Okay, there we go. I hope you have subscribed. So we have Bitcoin, and this is the weekly time frame. So what are the first things first? You see my support and resistances, these ones, they never leave my chart. I draw them to just show me key turning points where price has been turning to do those usually things that it is always wanting to do. So wow, there's something I'm saying. Okay, so what you see the weekly time frame. This is BTC USD, or what most of us call Bitcoin. So price was in an uptrend. Price was going up, or it is going up. So it made a high and then a low, and it spent in this low almost a full year in this low, and then it made another high, then made another low. So price has made a high. However, this high is not as clear as the rest of the highs. You see the highs here, guys. Let me see this. So now this high here is like this high here. You see, this is a high, this is a low, this is a higher high. So this is a low, this is a low. But remember, what created this low, this high, and this high was not as clear as this one. You see, this one, there is a low here, and then there is a high, a very huge high. There is a low here, there's a high, low, a very big high with around 1, 2, 3, 4 strong bullish candles, and then we dropped from an equal low, which was a higher low for this, but an equal low for this one. And then we went up to make another high, but this high was not significant. You look at this high, this is a low, but look at the high. It is almost near. When you consider this week, it is not a high, it is a double top. So now, price has come here to make a high. This is a high, significantly higher than this. And look at the price action that was here. in order to make this high, which is higher than this significant high. And now there's a higher low and there's this high. So we have come to put in another high with only 2 candles. If you consider the wick here, it is a double top. That's the thing that is disturbing me with this high. If you consider this wick, it is a double top. It is not like a significant high that you would look at and say, yes, the price has made a higher high. So if you got the line chart, it is a higher high. But if you go to the candlesticks, it is not convincing. It is not a significant high. However, price can just decide to make that high and then go up. You never know what it wants to do. So price has made another high. We shall consider it a high because there's 2 candle closures above. However, the wick is still holding it. So now what do we see? Price has come to retest this previous support. This was resistance, turned into support. You know, resistance broken turns into support. Price has come to test this previous resistance, which turned into support. This one here. So we retested, we rejected, we retested, we are rejecting again. So we are hoping that if we follow the laws of price action, that means we are retesting here and we are going up. But before we go up, we are targeting this high here because this is the high that should be broken to make another higher high. So we retest here and we are going up. That is what we are seeing. So we drop down to the daily. What do we see on the daily, guys? What do we see on the daily? If I can just raise this one to this level. What do you see on the daily? On the daily, we see this is a high that was broken. Where is the line? This one. This was a high that was broken with candle closures up, but immediately we closed up. We turned again back inside. And now we have been dropping since up to this area here. So on the high time from the weekly, we are at a very critical zone. However, at the same time, it is a support area. You see, price used this as a support to shoot up. Came here, used this as a support to go up, but still it is at that area. However, we wanted to buy according to the weekly time frame. We are in higher highs, higher lows, but there is something that is not clear that is hindering us from buying on Bitcoin. However, that doesn't mean that we cannot buy for the short term. Are we together? We can still buy, but for the short term. So how do we buy for the short term? Remember, since we know that we are not uptrend, we should only look for buys, because any sales, it might cause us trouble, though the uptrend is not clear for us. So you go to the 4 hour. 4 hour, what are we looking for? Remember what I talked about, demand zones. Demand zones. So price went up, created a demand zone here, you entered for a buy, price came all the way, tapped in, and you see guys, with the precision with this thing, it taps and turns around, came, tapped in, and then turned around, gave you around how many pips? Let's see. Don't worry, the stop loss might be big, but it's unlikely to come all the way down here. But since it is where the wicks end, that is where we put. So price came and gave you around 297 pips. 297 pips, guys. So after reaching down, we don't know, for some reason it started retracing back down. For some reason, retracing back down. And before it even went, after it had tapped in and it was going, it gave you another demand zone. If you wanted to buy again, to re-enter a buy, you would enter, another one was there. You see this incision candle, bullish candle moving away from this incision candle, price retrace came and tapped you in and took you up. So now what are we seeing, guys? What are we seeing now? You are seeing price tapped here, but it is retracing back to the downside. Has it broke structure yet? No. It has to first break here in order for us to know it is in a downtrend, but it hasn't broken structure. So what we're hoping is price can either continue go up to here, or it can come back to retest this area again and then go up. So for now, people who bought from here and here are already in the trade and they are safe. They are already in profit. But for us, we are not doing that. We are waiting for price to either come back, tap this one and go up, or we are waiting for price to come here and see whether it wants to come back down or it wants to proceed and make another higher high. So we drop down to the 3 hour to see if there is anything. 3 hours still the same thing. Demand zone here, demand zone here. There is nothing else that we see on the 3 hour. 2 hour, do we have anything? Nope. Still the demand zone here on the 2 hour is there. 1 hour? Nope. So we're going to stick to our narrative that price is going up, but it can first come to test this area, and because if it comes to test this area, I will be interested and I enter for buys to the upside. However, if it doesn't come, I'm waiting for it to come and tap this area and tell me what it wants to do. Yeah, guys, sorry, I've been speaking too much. So I'm waiting for price to come and tap this area and tell me what it wants to do. Before price comes here or up here, I'm not interested in any trades, guys. I am not interested in any trades, guys, because price can easily, oh, there's another demand zone here that price reacted from and it is going up, because price can easily come, you can enter from here, price will give you some pips, then come back to test this area and goes upside. You see, so it is not right. Or you can enter and it continues up, but then if you enter, your stop loss will have to be big up to down here, which is almost 300 pips. Who wants to use a stop loss of 200 plus pips? At least not me. So that is all, guys. Top down analysis combined with demand and supply, and everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. So I don't know, but that is the analysis I have for today on BTC. So we shall wait for price to tap here or go up. However, people who trade on the lower time frames, you'll always have opportunities inside here. Do I see any? I don't see. There was a demand zone here, but I see it was already used by price action. It was already used by price action. Used here. This was Wednesday. This is A today. A yesterday. Used here yesterday and has been used again. So you entered, target it up, gave you some pips, came back, gave you some pips, it has come back. So now it is giving you some pips. But if I were you, this time my target will not be far, because price the way it is behaving, it is not logical. Your target should be here. If I were you, target should be 1.7 or 1.8. That is 78 pips. If I were you, I would be pushing for only 78 pips and then I exit. And then let price do. Oh, you can push up to 78 pips, then move stop losses above break even such that the trade is risk free, and let it run to wherever it wants to go. Okay, guys, that is all for today. If there is anything, you can ask in the comment section. I will be able to reply. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment on the video. Anything, I'll be helping you. Like the video, guys. Like the video for the algorithm. So make sure you stay tuned. I'll be sending in more content like this one, educational content. And yeah, that is all. So that's all for today. Goodbye, guys. Goodbye.